Why is that?
I don't know.
Are you going to be leaving the show early again this week?
God, I hope not.
All right.
I hope not. It should be fine. I mean, we'll see. Elon Musk can send rockets to space and land them the majority of the time, and we can't get a good internet connection.
Yeah, he's working on that too, by the way. Harry is hooking up our lighting system. How do you like this?
That's a nice tee you got there, Metz.
Huh?
That's nice. That's nice.
I remember this tournament.
But the question...
I got knocked out by a guy named Dutch.
Was that right?
Yeah.
But the real question is... Well, I got this clip on this ring light at the top of my screen, and I think it always the clip slides off the top, so I'm waiting for it to slide off and fall and be a mess. But the question is that shirt new, or did you actually own that shirt in '84?
I bought it brand new in '84.
In '84?
No, Mr. Jason Claycomb, my neighbor, gave this to me.
Oh, really?
When he came over to watch the Tyson Roy Jones exhibition, he brought this shirt for me.
Well, that was nice of him.
Yeah, I thought. You know why I'm wearing it though? Because I just filmed our summer video, and I wore the shirt.
Oh, very nice.
And then Metcalf said, "You should keep that on. You know, it's a cool shirt. You should keep it on for the Mets Tassoul show."
This cool shirt.
And I said, "Well, Calf, I wasn't going to wear any shirt for the Mets Tassoul show, but if you think I should wear this, I'll wear it."
Oh boy!
So lucky for the viewers, Calf won.
Yeah, that's
hey,
right.
Everybody. Hey, Mr. Hamby. So Mr. Stuart Hamby was just here with us in town. He flew. Hey, I got to show everybody this. So Mr. Hamby, if you're still on, everybody pay attention, get close to your screens, because I think this is the coolest thing ever, especially when he came in to learn about the wealth program, right?
And Mr. Weaver, Kling, what's up? Mr. Alama, Mr. Robertson, you made it. Fantastic. Miss Geely, Mr. Myers, Mr. Gross, Miss Angelieri. Oh, there you go, Miss Geely. All right, $1.
So here it is. Tess, did I tell you about Mr. Hamby's? He flew in from Indianapolis, Indiana. I don't think I talked to you since then.
Is there a question in there?
Did I tell you about that? Did I tell you about his airfare and stuff?
Oh, is it the 9th? Well, go ahead. I saw him. I saw his post on it.
Yeah. Orlando. So this was Orlando direct back to Indianapolis on Frontier, everybody.
No excuses.
Airfare.
Pull it back just a little bit, Matt. There you go. 93 cents for the airfare.
And the taxes were $14.47.
That doesn't tell you something.
For a total of $15.40, Orlando to Indianapolis. His round trip airfare was $45, I think he said. $45 round trip, because it was $30 to get here, which he had to take a loan out, you know, because you got to budget that stuff, right? That's incredible. I mean, just incredible.
Yeah.
So you're more than welcome to get a ticket, everyone, to Orlando. Come see the headquarters. Come see that we do practice what we preach. All right. Bill Bird said he could fly first class.
That's
first
right.
Class, though, you might have to pay double.
You know, that'd be a great one to go up to a Red Jacket and be like, "Hey, can I upgrade my ticket? I want to do first class." And then say, "Well, wait, I only paid 19 cents for my flight. Can
93, don't exaggerate.
Or 93. Yeah. Can I pay $1.80 and upgrade? I'll pay double for first class."
Anyway.
Good stuff.
All right, industry. What's stopping you from hitting your new student goal? That's the question. That's the topic. First of all, let's just get a thumbs up. Put a thumbs up if you're hitting your new student goal. Put a thumbs down if you're not hitting your new student goal. Can we see what you guys are doing?
You're making an assumption. You assume they all have a new student goal. Just kidding, everybody. Just kidding. All right.
Let's see. Oh, and Bill Birch, he'll go as high as $2 for a first class.
$2 for first class. Boom, baby.
He'll pay more than double. And Mr. Bolton, sorry I missed you. All right, so Mr. Birch is working on it. Mr. Mundane, yes. Blackman's, yes. Mr. Bullock, yes. Guys, look, you know, in all seriousness, we're here to really help you guys. So good. Mr. Robertson, not hitting the new student goal. And that's good. And Mr. Myers, not hitting the new student goal. Good. Mr. Costa's close to the goal, right? But look, there's two things here, whether you're hitting your new student goal or you're not. And I want to talk about both. And I just had a call with Chris Rodriguez too this morning. And I talked to her about people that are hitting their new student goal. And I want to share that with you guys, but also obviously if you're not hitting it, and Mr. Birch has 3 schools doing the coloring sheets. Do you see this? Big numbers on the call list, but can't take anyone with another shutdown coming. So it's a waiting list. You can't take anyone with another shutdown coming, meaning your town's not letting you take any more people in. Is that the deal?
Or is your schedule not permitting you to have enough people, enough spots?
Mr. Mark Moore, record-breaking month.
Excellent.
And mostly because we are still limited due to the number of students we can have on the floor due to restrictions. All right, so
Metz, let's talk about that for a second. Because you know, depending on where you're located, right? And we've got a lot of clients in California, which you know was the first to shut down, probably would be the last to open. And you know, I know early on in the shutdown, we had talked about doing a longer term extended trial because we weren't sure how long this was going to last. So we were doing like 8-week trials, and then when our doors open, they can come in. I will tell you, a lot of people that I deal with that are in California, there is no difference between virtual and normal class, regular in-person classes. The charge is the same, and people are looking for activities to do. So for those of you that may struggle a little bit with, hey, we just can't take anymore, there's 2 things I would tell you. Number 1, we really need to look at your schedule and potentially get creative with your schedule. And number 2, if your schedule is where it needs to be and you still can't take in enough people because of, you know, your mandates or the limited capacities, whatever, then at least offer people the opportunity to do it virtually. And know that we don't have to discount that, and we shouldn't discount that, because the people that your students that were paying when you were virtual were paying full rate before, and you have a lot of people that are willing to pay that. And still don't want to come back into the schools until they feel a little bit more safe. So I would make sure that we don't let that get in the way.
By the way, let me give you this tip, everybody. So on the same topic, so let's just pretend that one of the things stopping you from hitting your new student goal is the fact that you have restrictions and you can't fit in. And like Tassoul said, don't just assume. First of all, don't put people on a waiting list, right? You put people on a waiting list, the emotion wears off, they can eventually disappear. You know, when you're ready to take them, they've already found something else to do. If they inquired and they wanted to enroll in your school or do martial arts as an activity, just because you can't take them in your school doesn't suppress their appetite for wanting to do an activity. So they're going to still find something to do a lot of times, right? Or at least you should assume that, because we got to get them in. Now, you should get them on virtual if you can do the virtual. And like Tassoul said, keep them at the same rate. But let's assume for a minute, Tass, and you're all grainy and frozen again, Tass. Right. I love the internet connection in Wisconsin.
You're grainy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, kind of. But let's assume for a minute that you're uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable with charging full price, right? So you want to put people on a waiting list because you're just uncomfortable. You have a mental block about charging someone full price to come on virtual. Here's what you can do to be fair to everybody else. sign them up on a trial special to buy yourself time. That trial special could be $69 for 6 weeks, right? Includes a uniform. Includes a uniform. You either mail them a uniform or you go drive a uniform or have it drop shipped from Century to their house, however you want to do it, right? But now you just bought yourself 6 weeks, but you got them. You got them in as part of your family to show them the value and benefits of what you can do, with the excitement of hopefully within 6 weeks or another month and a half, maybe we can open and get them in. Now let's fast forward 6 weeks. If you can't do that, you can offer a one-time special where they can extend their special for 4 weeks for only $49. And I'm not giving you the right time or the right amounts. I'm giving you the concept of how you can do this if you have a mental block or you're nervous about signing people up on a full program at a regular rate while trying to be fair to all your other students who are paying your rate. You can get them on a trial special and buy yourself time until you're able to open and get them in the building, right? But don't put them on a waiting list, okay? So that's what I would say to do if your restrictions are keeping you from hitting your new student goal. But if you're not hitting your new student goal and you don't have the restrictions that's stopping you, can you guys just give us some ideas on what may be stopping you from hitting your new student goal? And by the way, everybody, for all of the people who put a thumbs up that you're hitting your new student goal, what's your new goal? If it's March 25th and you've hit your new student goal, I hope you reset the goal. Or what do we do? Put our feet up and just relax and see how many over our goal we can get? Or do we reset the goal and say, okay, look, I think we can get 7 more before the end of the month, 5 more, and break it out on how we can do that. So just because we hit the goal. Now, if you put a thumbs up that you hit your new student goal because you anticipate how many more people you're going to close and you're going to hit the goal, it means you didn't hit your goal. You didn't hit your goal yet. You may be on track to hit your goal, but you didn't hit it yet. But if you have hit your new student goal by the 25th of the month, did you reset? Tass, you want to add anything to that, Grains?
Well, first of all, Mr. Halama says the connection is just fine.
Maybe it's this connection. I don't know.
So, and it shows me in the upper left-hand corner that your connection is 1 bar. This connection is 1 bar.
Stop throwing stones.
But anyway, listen, I think these, some great ideas, and it's important to evaluate and look. On the idea of setting goals, right? Your new student goal. Here's what I would tell you: as we close out, we're coming to close out March. I'm hoping everybody did have a new student goal. And if you did, you definitely need to set one for the rest of the year for each of those months. And what I would do is go back to last year, look at how many students you enrolled last year, regardless of whether it was a COVID year or not. Let's look at the enrollments. How many do we want to beat it by? And then we set that for the goal for each month moving forward. Because when you see the big picture, and you see like, well, geez, I only need to enroll. Like, I think the worst thing that people can do is set a static goal for the number of enrollments every month. It's like setting a static financial goal every month. That you have, it's a rolling number. I mean, some people say, I need to enroll 10 students a month. Well, what about last year when you enrolled 18 people in a month? You're not going to hit your goal. So look at how many you want to increase that by on a monthly basis. Lay out your plan for the rest of the year so that you have a month, and you will have a month where you see like, dang, we had whatever it was. We had more enrollments that month than we had the rest of the year. Well, what are you doing to prep and get ready to make sure you can go over that amount this year? So is it more grassroots stuff? Is it a bigger ad spend? What is it? How are we going to hit those numbers? Because I think a lot of us will get through March, and then we may look at, okay, well, geez, what did we do last April for enrollments? And now we're in April, and we're trying to set our enrollment goal in April while we're in April. And that's not a good plan because we don't have time to be able to do that. And Metz is laughing. It must be cutting out.
Do you see all these comments?
The Matrix.
Do you see the comment?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I do.
You look like the mysterious photo of Bigfoot. Roboto sounds like Morse code. Yeah. Anyway, so hey, folks, I hope you got all that information from Tass. Hope you were able to decipher that. Anyway, so listen, what he was saying is setting a goal. Let me just go over this for everybody. If you set your new student goal and you say our new student goal is 20 new students this month, that's great to pull a number out of the air, but how are you going to get there, right? And you got to break it down. But for those of you who have hit your goal, for those of you who are having an influx of new students, so let me tell you this around the country, people are breaking records with getting new students in the door. And I think we predicted this. I think we said last year that as things start to normalize, people in this country, right, the Americans, we've had our freedoms taken away a little bit. We've taken for granted that we can just go out to dinner anytime we want. We can sign our kids up for activities anytime we want. And being that we had it there, whether we took advantage of it or not, we knew it was always there for us. Well, COVID has taken that away from a lot of people. And I think a lot of people are going to act on things. And we're seeing that. We're getting record enrollments now, you know, for a lot of places and a lot of people. But if you are getting that influx, this is very important. If you're spending money on social media ads, let's say, or if you're putting out mailers, or if you're going out into your community, whatever you're doing, double it. Take advantage of this wave right now and double it. If you're spending money to get new students and you're seeing this wave, don't sit back and say, this is unbelievable. We're getting more new students than ever. Get even more than that. Put more money to it because it's an investment. If it's working, push the pedal all the way down to the floor and be more aggressive on the marketing, because the time will come again in the industry. It does this, right? Where you'll be putting money to ads, social media ads, or you'll be doing different things, your marketing, you know, whether it's referral programs or school whatever it is, whatever you do, where you're just not getting as many trials or as many leads as you once got. And you got to remember those times. So right now, as it's hot, we can't just be comfortable and enjoying it. This is where you got to push harder. But you know, we do the opposite. When things are down, when we're not getting a lot of students, what do? If you're spending money on social media and it's only trickling in, what do? Now you put more money to it, right? Because you want to try to get more students in. But when you're getting more students in, you don't put more money to it. Some of you may even pull some money back. And you don't want to do that either. You don't want to pull money back. You want to take advantage of the wave and you want to ride it. Okay. Hold on. Mr. Tassoul is trying to get back in here, guys, but he'll be in a second. I see it showing me a message here that he's ready to join us. So whatever you're doing, do more of it. If you don't have more money to spend, first of all, if you're getting a record number of new students, you should have more money to invest in your marketing, right? But you also want to start doing the things that you're not doing. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Tass is back, everybody. Hi, Tass.
Hi. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so do the things that you're not doing. For example, you know, we teach how to do the proper way to do a referral system in your school. We're not doing a seminar right now on this broadcast on how you make referrals really work well, right? But if you have a referral system or a referral program, you need to push that right now. If you have one in place, do a referral contest on top of your referral system. If there's a wave and an influx of people, now let's do a contest. How many students can you refer this month? And by the way, if you just said it like that, and again, we're not going to go into seminar mode because I know a lot of people on here probably are like, oh, referrals don't work. Yes, they do. You just don't know how to do it properly. But if you go out to your students and say, guys, we're going to have a contest. Whoever refers the most members to our school this month gets a prize. That's not going to work. Okay, that's not going to work. Because then they're going to look at it like you're just trying to recruit a bunch of salespeople they could be turned off by that, or it can go in one ear and out the other. It's not how you do it. So if you guys want to learn how to do all this stuff, you really should think about jumping onto Maya Foundations so we can lay the foundations and then go into the Maya Growth Program, where we actually have a dedicated hour and a half to talk. One of the topics in our growth program would be referral systems. But my point is you got to do things that you're not doing and do more of what you are doing to capitalize on the influx of new students. The second thing is Tassoul's favorite subject is stats. If somebody tells me they signed up, or TAS, if somebody tells you, hey, we signed up 30 new students this month, is that good?
Depends.
Exactly, right? Because why do we not know if that's good or not?
You know, it's interesting, and this is why I think some people, when you guys get together and you maybe talk numbers with other school owners, you don't understand, you don't know what you don't know, right? And I saw Metz, you put a post out, or maybe a Maya Minute on this, and you don't know. I mean, so if I tell you someone's doing $50,000 a month in their school, is that good? I mean, you don't know the answer to that, and neither do I, until I ask questions. And the question would be, well, they have 500 students, and that's $100 student value. And I'm getting off topic, but that's not good. They're not maximizing their revenue. It's good, but they're not maximizing their revenue. We could be doing 85, 90,000 with better systems. The same thing on enrollments. If you have a 500 student school and you've got a good attrition rate of 4%, which is a good attrition rate, well, you're losing 20 students. If your attrition rate 6% at a 500 student school, you're losing 30 students a month. To enroll 30, you're maintaining, you're even. So it depends on your attrition rate. It depends on, well, how many did you enroll last year at the same time? I mean, there's factors that factor into that. And this is why, you know, static numbers are not good numbers. And we all think this way. Like I used to think the same way, man. If I could just do 30,000 a month in my school, things would be great. Well, yeah, until you do a holiday event and you do 80,000 a month, and then you're like, well, 30,000 is no good anymore. You have to understand our business, the ebbs and flows of our business, whether that's revenue or enrollments. We got to understand how that works, and then we lay that line, that goal line, just above those ebbs and flows for the following year, for the same month, so that we can always be beating it, and within those same cycles, right? Because we know there are cycles throughout the course of the year. By the way, Metz, am I coming through clear, or is it Morse code?
No, I hear you loud and clear.
Okay. There's ebbs and flows that we have throughout the course of the year, and we just want to make sure, you know, that we're following those, and we're always looking to be above. We know that, you know, we're coming up on the time of year. If you're doing month to month, get ready to lose some students, because we lose the most amount of students 3 times a year, coming into summer, coming out of summer, and coming out of the holidays. And so now the good news is we can also pick up a lot of new students during those times. But those are some of the considerations to make when you're setting your goals and when you're looking at your numbers. And I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, and by the way, you know, look at some of the comments here. So like the Blackmans, right? They signed up 120 new students since January 1st. Some of you guys listening never even had 120 students. You got to go ahead.
And then I see the next comment from LT Wimberly Helmick.
I have that posted. Yeah.
Okay, there it is. Yeah. So if it blows up, how do you keep up and give them all what they deserve? Well, listen, I believe life is always full of challenges, right? And it's a matter of what problems or challenges do you want on your list. I would rather have the problem and challenge on my list of how am I going to service 120 new students, as opposed to how come I can't enroll 5 students this month? Like I'm not enrolling anybody. 2 different sets of problems. And I promise, when you have that kind of success, you will figure out a way. But we just need to get that problem, and then we come up with a solution. And right. I think the assumption sometimes is, well, there's no way you can service that many people, and they must have a high attrition rate, and it's just not. And I'm not saying that this person's saying that, but sometimes that can be the belief. And I'll tell you, the schools that have the most students have the best systems because they've learned how to grow. I mean, it's no different than Disney. I mean, how does Disney service millions of people? Well, they create systems to be able to do that, right? And yes, there's staff and help and employees and all those things, but the 120 students gives you the opportunity and the revenue to have more staff, to have more systems in place and do all those things. So everything works hand in hand. And look, that is a problem that I would gladly trade for lack of students to how do I deal with 120 students, new students in whatever it's been, 75 days or whatever it's been.
And by the way, listen, I want everybody, listen up, everyone. What Tassoul just said is the schools that have, you know, the 400 students or whatever, they have better systems. Doesn't mean they all have better quality martial arts students. That's another topic, right? We like to have both. So we like to have systems and solutions that accomplish both revenue and quality. Another thing that people in this industry don't understand. Well, if you have 400 students and you're doing 100,000 a month, your students must suck. No, has nothing to do with that. But also on Wimberly Helmick, if it blows up like that, how do you keep up and give them all what they deserve? He's absolutely right as far as the challenges. But listen, everyone, this is why, and I'm just being honest with you, we came up with, and we wanted Maya, we designed a program that is 4 Zoom calls. 4. It's only 2 months. You do one call 2 weeks later, you do the next call 2 weeks later, the next call 2 weeks later, the next call, and then you're done. You're done. And if you want to repeat that program, you can repeat it at no cost. You can repeat it again. But one of the topics on the Foundations program is class schedule, because that is conducive for profitability and quality, depending on how you design your class schedule. So the first thing that I would do with what we do with our clients is, and by the way, I just did this I'll probably do this with the elite group in a week or two when we get on the big elite group call, but I just did this on my Monday program directors meeting on Wednesday. And I did this with the Blackmans last week, where you got to do projections, right? So like the Blackmans, for example, 120 new students or whatever it is since January 1st, right? And then Miss Geely, who's also in the elite family and CMA family, she's like, we only signed up 97 since January, right? We're doing great here with the systems in our family. In the Maya family and the CMA family, we're doing great. And I know how much we can help all of you, but there's a foundation that you need to understand. And what I told everybody was this: we cannot start tweaking schedules. Here's what we need to do. When is your next testing or graduation? Well, how many students are going to move from beginner to intermediate or move out of your beginner class? How many students at your next graduation? Then let's project if you enroll the same amount of people in the second quarter of the year that you enrolled in the first quarter of the year, right? How many people are going to move up at the second graduation? Once you do those projections, we can see how filled up we could kind of guesstimate how many students are going to be in our intermediate classes, our advanced classes, and our beginner classes. If we calculate what your average attrition rate is, if we guesstimate how many students based on what you've been enrolling, an average of each month, and how many students are moving up at testings or graduations, and we go through this, that will dictate our class schedule. Because the worst thing you could do is change your class schedule right now and react just to change it again in 2 or 3 more months when you're having a problem. That disrupts your students. We have a why behind everything that we do, everybody, and we teach this. Everything we do is really thought out and methodical. But one of the courses in our Foundations program, there's only 4 things we cover: pricing structure, mass enrollments, upgrades, and your class schedule. Class schedule is its own topic. It's very, very important, because it's not about a class schedule just to have great martial artists. It's not a class schedule just to make the most revenue. It's a class schedule designed to have both. That's what we teach you, and we teach you the why, and we explain it to you. And for the majority of people that are in that program, if not all of them, you leave there saying that makes sense. Don't just listen to me. We would never say, here's the schedule. This is what you need to do, because you won't understand why we do it, right? So that's a problem that we're having in the industry right now. You know, I have 3 schools right now that we own right here in Orlando that are over 300 active students right now. They were all down over COVID. They're over 300 active. 2 of those schools are in 2,000 square feet. And why is that important for you? It's important for you because the other thing that we try to do with any clients we work with is save you money. How many times, Tass, do we hear people say, I got 3,000 square feet, I got 150 students, and we need to expand. We need to look for a bigger spot. We're busting at the seams. And what does a bigger spot mean? It means higher rent, more utility bills, build out, more expense. What we need to do, go ahead.
And your smaller classes look empty in a big space. When you have 10, 12 students in 5,000 square feet, you don't look busy at all. You know, in the grocery industry years ago, you know, for those of you who don't know, my family was involved in the grocery industry. We had 5 supermarkets, and, you know, it was just interesting. I mean, busy breeds busy, right? And when you have perceptions of things, it's crazy. I mean, I worked in every department of the grocery store when I was a kid. And I'll never forget the story, and I watched it happen live. We had in the produce department, when we'd have potatoes. This is back in the day where you'd have bags of potatoes, but we would have them literally stacked up, chest high, with whatever the price was of the potatoes. Because we had a massive amount of potatoes on this pallet, people thought it was a great deal, and you would see the first half of that pallet would sell down immediately. If you didn't refill it, it would just kind of stay there. As soon as you refilled it, it would come down immediately. So my point in saying this is the perception of your school is when people come in and you appear to be busy or like a busy restaurant, it appears as though it's the place to be. So, you know, I think a lot of times too, you know, that's another reason why you got to look at your square footage. You want to be busy. You want to be a busy school. You want to have the perception of being busy. Now, do we want to have overcrowded classes? No, that's a different topic. There's ways to deal with that. And well, I'm going to say it, but
don't say it.
The other reason why a lot of you think you need a bigger school is because you're doing these traditional form patterns that take up an entire, you know, 20 by 20 section for one person to do it. And at the end of the day, there's better ways to teach that. And those are floor systems that you need to be educated on, but that's a whole nother topic.
And real quick, do you put all ages together in beginner, intermediate, and advanced? No, we do not. We do not put all ages together. We do not. Okay, our adults and teens are separated, but we do have beginner, you know, kids are together, and they are separated by beginner, intermediate, advanced. And for our beginners, we have some classes that would be like 7 and under, 8 and up. You know, so sometimes we'll separate them. And we have like a Little Dragons program or Mighty Mites, Tiny Tigers, whatever you call it, for like the young kids. Those are all separated.
These are things we would talk about too on scheduling, because listen, some of you may not have a need for like a 4 and 5 year old class, a 7 and 8 year old class, a 9 and above. You have to look at your student base and your population, because why would you have a class for, I'm making it up, 6 and 7 year olds as an example, or 6 to 8, if you've got only 12 of them, you can put all those people together and still separate by belts. I mean, there's so many different variables with schedule, but there's a format for the schedule that, regardless of those variables, works. Like it works crazy. If somebody just did, it sounds like a pitch for foundations, but 4 calls will change your life and change your school forever.
Hey, and listen, everybody, I want to pull something up. Everybody watch this, but somebody asked the question, what times do you start classes? How many classes do you all have each week? Here's the schedule, right? One of my schools that I just pulled up on my iPad, there are 9 classes we teach on Monday. We have classes that start at 12:30 in the afternoon for adults, obviously. And then the first kids class is at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's one class in the afternoon, just to be clear, for adults.
Right. You're right. That's correct.
And then the rest of the other 8 start at 4 o'clock, correct?
Right. But we go until, 9 o'clock at night, and it's what we have to do, right, to accommodate. But then you're going to draw your own conclusions. If you want, here's what I want to show everybody. Look at this a minute. Let me just show you something here. Let me go back on these comments, because this is important to see, right? And by the way, the successful people, even people in our family, right? They're always learning. I mean, we got people on here that are in the CMA or Maya family, and they don't need to watch this, but they're watching this, and I'm just pulling random, but like this, for example, I'm trying to find. I see the welcome, hello, how are you? Let me just scroll down. So like a lot of these people that are chiming in, right? As far as like here, Blackman's 120 signups, right? Well, he's in the Maya family, CMA family. Mr. Halama, I don't need a goal. I have Chris Rodriguez in my corner. He says, I'm kidding. I have a goal. In the Maya family. Can-Am Kid, Maya family, right? Miss Geely, well, we only signed up 97, Maya family, right? Who works with Mr. Bolton? Ben and Maya, I've only enrolled 55. Better get my act together. Can-Am Kid, I think I said that. Mr. Halama, I'll hit 100 students for the first time in my life with a tiny building. Would not have been able to do that without your schedule. My point is, guys, when you guys are fellow martial artists and you just see all these comments, because here's what we see. Here's what Tass and I see for the most part. Now, there's some people I don't know on here, right? Like, let me just read this comment. I think someone saying we've only hit X number of students needs to revisit their strategy for context. What did they pay in marketing? Is 97 students on $14 of Facebook boosts worth it? Well, Mr. Curry, so looking at that question, I don't know that answer, but if I said to you, look, I can give you new students, as many as you want, you got to pay me $100 a student. Would you pay me? Well, the answer should be yes, right? Now, that's way too expensive when you look at what you should be acquiring a student for. But at the end of the day, well, why? Well, $100 because I don't know what's a student worth to you? What is one student worth to you? In our world, in the Maya world, we want every student to have at least a value of $185 per month, right? Doesn't mean we charge that. We don't charge $185 a month. We don't charge that, but their value, their worth, right? Well, sure, I'll pay $100. I'll pay $185 because right after the first month, it's all gravy after that for that student, right? But you got to look at numbers. We got to break things down. You got to see what you're doing. We got to look at your expenses. I mean, it's just not easy answers, right? Now, by the way, folks here can't get here before 5:30 due to work to bring kids or family, homeschools during the day, but few others. That's all over the country. That's all over the country. And by the way, we have an answer for that. It's called a flip-flop schedule, and we have an answer for that. And I can't get into all of this stuff, but I do understand. But if you live in America or Europe or Canada, your problems are not different, right, than anyone else's anywhere else. We understand. I mean, we've worked with schools all over the world here. Oh, look, I'm watching from New Zealand. Maya member, excellent stuff. Trying to crack 250 students. This will help. Well, that's exciting. There you go. He even works in New Zealand, everybody, right? So there you go. Now, we got to dive into your numbers. But when you see people pinging up all these successes, right? 2.5% attrition, signing up 120 students. First time ever in my life I cracked 100 students with Maya and the help of Maya and the schedule. What is stopping you from trying out Maya Foundations, which is a 2-month deal, 4 phone calls, and that you can repeat it for free as many times as you want to make sure you really get the information? What would stop you from doing that? I mean, please put it in there. What would stop you? Because I don't know what would stop you, right? I mean, it's like the worst case scenario is you lose a few $100s and you earned absolutely nothing. You earn absolutely nothing and you lose a few $100. But now, if you take a program with us, and I don't care who you work with in the industry, you can work with this. And by the way, even all the people that work with us, they'll say we're the best. But they can't say we're the best unless they work with everyone else, right? Just like you can't say the person you work with is the best or you know the best. You can't say that until you've actually tried everybody else, right? But if you try our program, then you are free to comment all you want about how good or how bad it was. I mean, you're free to, but you're not free to comment when you've never even tried us out, which is something else this industry is really good at, right? You know what? Look, how do you have 44 classes in 5:30 to 9:30 time slots? I don't know what that means. 44. You mean for the week, over the week? But here, if you want to know how
You don't.
the foundations program.
For starters, it's 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock is what we had said, right? Number one.
Yeah, but hold on. But I think somebody. Oh, she's saying though that people can't get there till 5:30 in her town, which I'm saying.
Hold on. Go back to Blackman's comment. 44. He commented to her 44.
Oh, 44. What time?
There was a little side combo going on with all you people that we didn't see here.
Hey, don't leave us out. This is our show.
How many classes do y'all teach per week?
44.
44, says Mr. Blackman. And that could be a Monday through Saturday, by the way, not just Monday through Friday.
Right. That could be Monday through Saturday.
Right.
And there's one school. Hey, by the way, there's one school that I've worked with, and Maya family for 10 years now. Great person. I won't mention his name because he doesn't always like to put it out there. When I started working with him, he was in 1,800 square feet, averaging about $70,000 a month in 1,800 square feet. After a year or two of working with him, bought a huge building, multi-million-dollar building, moved his school in there, has more space, but had a full schedule on Sundays. I've never had a schedule, not even one class on Sundays, but we had to work it out. He opened up a full schedule Sunday, and it's packed on Sundays. So at the end of the day, you do what you got to do depending on what your goals are. I'm not telling everyone to start working on Sunday, but if you're saying, I love martial arts and I really want this business to help me with my retirement and provide for my instructors or my family, well, if we got to get in there right now on Sundays, because that's what's going to take to get another 50 students or 100 students, then we got to get in there on Sundays, right? So, that's it. Go ahead, Tass.
I'm just trying to decipher the comment from Lyric Libretto about y'all like trannies. I'm not sure what that is. Then 1,800 trannies. I don't know what that is. I don't know if we're being hacked or if that's like a definition or a term. I don't know what the answer is. So some clarity there would be fantastic. Okay. All right, guys, you're getting a little graphic on the comments here. So yeah, man, listen, again, we don't know what we don't know, right? And I think it's important that if you don't know, then get educated to make the decision for yourself. Okay, make that decision for yourself and figure it out. Because when you see class schedule, somebody else class, and you try and implement it. I remember coming on as a client with Elite, and I was a little confused as what the schedule was, because I didn't understand it because I've never done my schedule that way. And then once it was explained to me, I went, oh my gosh, it made complete sense and opened up the door. So anyway, yeah, Lyric, very good. We appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here. We love haters. It's awesome. So anyway, other questions from you guys out there? Metz, are you seeing that?
Yeah, I am. I'm looking. Yeah.
And by the way, it doesn't matter what your sexual preference is. You can be successful in this business, Lyric.
Or your age or IQ. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So
we had Sundays with COVID. We stopped Sunday. It was a popular day, but instructor needs time. 100%. Listen, you got to make sure you take care of yourself. You cannot make your passion into a chore either. And that's something else we're very conscious of. You got to enjoy what you do and not burn yourself out. However, there's certain things we got to do in the beginning to lay the foundations. That's a little bit of a grind, and it's temporary.
And Miss Wimperly, listen, you're not causing any issues at all. I mean, you're saying things that people are thinking, and that's important to understand. And so and just understand, Metz and I are pretty just like candid and straightforward. So it may come across abrasive or like we're talking now. We don't mean that at all. It just is. We've done this so many times with schools with 0 students and schools with 600-700 students, and we've gone through this and modified their schedule and create their schedule for retention, for revenue, and we just know how it can be done. And I think it's great that you're asking those questions because it helps educate the other people as well. So that's why we're here, so don't ever feel bad about asking questions or asking us if we're trannies. I mean, that's cool too, whatever you want. We're here to serve.
And by the way, sir, Mr. Peter Johnson here. Hello, sir. Is the flip-flop schedule on the Maya Elite site? Where can I find examples and explanations?
Mr. Johnson, you're one of my clients, sir. You just send me that. He's in California, and so they've been really, really hit. And so we have not even worked on really modifying schedule because a lot of things have been, virtual right now. So just hit me up on the text, and I'll get you that schedule.
There you go. So get with Mr. Tassoul, and from the Maya Edge Corporate, we apologize for previous scam comments. Commenter has been removed from the stream.
I was just getting fun.
I know. Tass was enjoying that. Anyway, I make it a personal goal to teach as much as I can from Monday through Thursday because I teach skydiving on the weekends. Can I have more? Maybe. Do I want to give up other passions? No. And that's based on your goals, and that's okay, right? I personally will not be skydiving on the weekends or weekdays.
Fear, Mets, fear.
Looks like we just ended a 1980s sitcom, and he froze with a smile on his face, and the credits are about to roll.
There you can't hear me.
Now you're back.
Okay.
Now you're back.
All right. Mr. Rivera, I got you as well.
Send me to. Okay. Guys, listen, at the end of the day, choose which problems you want to have. And in our industry, it would be better to have a too many new student problem as opposed to a too few new student problem. And then we accommodate, okay? And if you guys have questions or if you need anything, look, you could private message one of us. We'll respond. As a matter of fact, I had a gentleman, reach out to me on here and he just wanted some clarification. He's in our Maya Foundations program, by the way, and he private messaged me or sent me a message, and I'm gonna give him a call to try to help him out to make sure he understands stuff. So,
and Matt,
yeah,
hey, one thing before we jump off, I'm not going to say who this is, but this was just a client that literally just 12:35, like so 20 minutes ago, sent me this message. 363 active students in March, 26 enrollments, 12 upgrades, 2 renewals, 18 on trial, 72,000 for the month. Amazing. Now, let me say this. That's fantastic for this school, right? But I sometimes think when you guys are seeing some of these people with the 100 and some enrollments, 97 enrollments, you're like, I just need 5 a month. Like, this is way too big for me. Please don't be intimidated by that because they all started where you are starting. And it's important to understand that I think sometimes we can tune out or shut off because we just see these big, big numbers and think, well, that's just not possible for me. It is possible over time, but you have to have the right systems in place to get there because most everybody that's on here, everyone that's on here, we tweaked their systems and made their systems work for them so they can maximize it and work smarter, not harder, and maximize the results in their school. So I just want to make sure you guys understand that. Whether you're a school with 20 students, 50 students, or 500 students, these principles and concepts work regardless.
And let me just say this too with Ms. Wimberly Helmick. Back-to-back, no time between. How many instructors? The Blackmans responded, right, no time between, 2 instructors, whatever. But listen, if you're a one-man or one-woman operator, what we do is we dive in and we see, well, let's see, how many students do you currently have? Your schedule today may be very different than the school with 300 students, right? It will be different. And we may need time spots in between if you're a one-man or one-woman show to accommodate our customers, for time in between. We also may need a blank class time slot to do mass enrollments at that time slot. That's why mass enrollments is one of the topics we cover in Foundations. Everything filters back. You're going to see how these 4 topics are very important to work congruent with each other. Because maybe if you're a one-man or one-woman show, you don't have time to do one-on-one intros. You don't have time to sit in the office and do an enrollment because you're the only one there to teach classes too. So we understand all of the challenges, whether you're a multi-school owner, 500 students in a school, or 25 students in a school. It's not one size fits all. It's just not. But the concepts are the same, and the path is the same. The pathway is the same, right? So we will, we'll help you out. But check out mayafoundations.com, everybody. Check it out and decide if it's worth trying. Okay. All right. Well, Tass, this was a different show, right?
Yeah. And all the years we've been doing it, this is the first time I think we've been hacked. It is the first time.
Yeah, I think so. Right.
It was fun. It was enjoyable.
Oh, wait. Wow, they're coming in. My biggest issue, training up instructors who can do what I do. We are going through growth. Sir, that's always going to be the issue, but it's constant and consistent training. Constant and consistent training.
Miss Wimberly, listening to y'all is great, but I think dang, LOL. Well, don't think dang. Come in and check it out, and we can help you for sure. For sure.
Stick with Mets
and Bigfoot.
Bigfoot. You will love what they can do for you personally, no matter what your threshold is.
Thank you, Mr. Weaver.
Thank you. And psyched for the scheduled meeting in Foundations on Wednesday. Happy to have you. And come on, Mr. LaMattina. We didn't outdo ourselves, did we? And by the way, Tass.
There you go.
That'll be the comment that's posted on this as it feeds through everyone's feed. Thanks, Mr. Birch. But I put it up there. Anyway, guys, love hanging out. The weekend's upon us. We're going to have a record quarter, by the way. 30 years in business, and I think we're going to have a record quarter. It's crazy out there right now. Take advantage of the wave and do what we talked about at the beginning of the program here. So good luck with everything. Reach out to us if you need anything, and we'll see everybody next week. All right, Tal? All right, man.
Yes. All right, guys. Appreciate you. We'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.